Bombshell, the memo just leaked. Here's what we have. It's worse than anyone thought, by Al Waisman for freedomdaily.com. We at Freedom Daily have just received information from an anonymous source showing what appears to be the first page of the now infamous FISA memo written by Republican staffers on the House Intelligence Committee under the direction of its chairman, Congress Devin Nunes from California. Although we can't confirm its authenticity or where it came from, we will let you, the reader, be the judge. Department of Justice, memorandum for record, subject: illegal use of FISA warrants to unmask and surveil American citizens for political purposes. Investigation 1 of 22 at DOJ reference FISA. Investigation breach of the Democratic National Committee breach dossier. Through the course of our investigation, we have determined that the Democratic National Committee was breached by an individual named Seth Rich. At the time of the breach, Mr. Rich was employed by the Democratic National Committee. At the time of the breach, during said period of employment, Mr. Rich broke into the IT server room and transferred the files from the server to an external hard drive. The investigation concludes that the transfer rate of files was consistent with a local breach and does not align with the assertions that the breach occurred through a transfer over the internet. Once the information had been downloaded off the server, it was emailed to WikiLeaks' secure file drop site. As noted on the previous President Daily briefings, President Obama was aware of ongoing operations that had continuous monitoring of the WikiLeaks secure drop site. Individuals aware of this file transfer from Mr. Rich to WikiLeaks included Director of National Intelligence James R. Clapper and Central Intelligence Agency Director John O. Brennan. I knew they were guilty. Upon receipt of the information, Mr. Clapper and Brennan met with, all redacted here, these 12 individuals continued to be monitored and are the subjects of latter investigations. Using the information provided, Mr. Brennan reached out to his to his department at Google, requesting that they fund an organization called CrowdStrike. Funding for the organization was to be used to produce documentation indicating that the files seized from the DNC were a hack perpetrated by agents linked to the Kremlin. Any documentation or information suggesting that the hack occurred locally was to be destroyed. Wow. The narrative that was to be pushed was that the emails from John Podesta account were the result of an elaborate phishing scheme. Concurrent with the production of the documentation to be used to allege that Russian hackers were the source of the leaks provided to WikiLeaks, Mr. Brennan notified both the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton that Seth Rich was the source of their leaks. Now you understand? This investigation has uncovered documentation indicating that Mr. Rich was to be made an example out of. Internal sources in the gang known as MS-3 indicating that they were used to perform the hit that occurred in the Bloomingdale neighborhood of Washington, D.C. What a mess. If this memo we received is indeed authentic, it will raise serious questions as to the death of Seth Rich, the moment a political party which was running a candidate who does in fact have a questionable past when it concerns people who have gone against her. Clinton machine states that Seth Rich will be made an example of. All bets are off. And it could all now lead to criminal investigations and the possible jailing of Hillary Clinton herself for the death of this heroic staffer who had the guts to do what was right and expose the corruption within the Democratic Party. Yahoo News reports DOJ warns House Intel chairman about purported secret memo on FBI. The Justice Department is urging the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, whose staff has compiled a secret memorandum purporting to show shocking political bias within the FBI to give the department a chance to see the memo, and warning that first sharing information from the memo with reporters would be unprecedented and dangerous. Furthermore, the department said certain allegations of impropriety are completely unfounded. We believe it would be extraordinarily reckless for the committee to disclose such information publicly without giving the Department of the FBI the opportunity to review the memorandum and to advise the committee of the risk of harm to national security. Risk of harm who? To who? And to ongoing investigations that could come from the public release. A top Justice Department official wrote in a letter today to Representative Devin Nunes, Republican of California. Indeed, we do not understand why the committee would possibly seek to disclose classified and law enforcement sensitive information without first consulting with the relevant members of the intelligence community. Because they're corrupt. Last week, Nunes disclosed that his staff had drafted the memo, which was deemed classified, but shared with other House members. It's not clear what the memorandum states or what information is contained within it, but the Justice Department letters suggest the Nunes memorandum ties alleged government surveillance of Trump associates to information that provided by authors of the infamous dossier, alleging collusion between Trump aides and Russian operatives. Republicans had complained that the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, or FISA court, approved such surveillance is based on fake information and a dossier that was all dressed up by author Chris Steele, as Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio put it during a House hearing in December. Recent news reports indicate a classified memorandum prepared by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence staff alleges abuses of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigations in the FISA process. In the letter sent to Nunes today, Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd noted recent media reports allege abuses at the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigations in the FISA process. So, okay, we know of that. So why are we going to give the Justice Department and the FBI prior warning? Though we are currently unaware of any wrongdoing related to the FISA process, we agree that any abuse of that system cannot be tolerated, Boyd wrote. So he's contradicting himself. What do you mean we're unaware of any wrongdoing? I thought it was mind-boggling if you saw the memo about the FISA warrant. Within weeks, the FBI launching its investigation into 2016 agents obtained approval from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court to monitor the communications of Trump advisor Carter Page, who was already on the FBI's radar after being targeted for recruitment as an intelligence source by Russian spies in the previous case, according to sources with knowledge in the matter. The announcement of the Nunes memorandum has been followed by an online effort to reveal the memo publicly, pushed around the world with the hashtag #ReleaseTheMemo, according to multiple data analysis firms. The lead Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Adam Schiff of California, called the memorandum a profoundly misleading set of talking points drafted by Republican staff attacking the FBI and its handling of the investigation. Let's lock him up too while we're at it. It may help carry White House water, but it is a deep disservice to our law enforcement professionals, Schiff said. Yeah, right. The Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, Representative Jerry Nadler, Democrat of New York, said he has reviewed the classified source material Nunes' staff used to craft the memorandum, and those materials tell a very different story than the conspiracy theory concocted by Chairman Nunes and being repeated in the press. What a crock. Nader called on Nunes to make his memorandum available to the Justice Department. If it's a crock, leak it out, okay? And let the people decide. Since it's a crock, there's no national security. The FBI, who is corrupt from the get-go, doesn't need to see it. Of course, the Democratic Party run DOJ and FBI are concerned because if this memo we received is indeed authentic. It has to be one of the most terrifying documents in our government's history, at least that we know of. Actually, it's not, but that's besides the point. We all knew what was taking place. To see a political party and candidate use a ruthless gang MS-13 to off a staffer, see, they're saying this, and I still don't believe that. But, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. To off a staffer after clearly stating he will be made an example of, and to know he showed up dead just a few weeks later into the robbery where not even his cell phone was taken is enough to sound the alarm. That's why MS-13, they would take the damn cell phone. They would rob him out also. Do you see what I'm saying? I cannot believe it's MS-13. She's done jobs. She's gotten rid of people, and in a very, very professional way. This MS-13 is not a professional job. And if they were going to do it, I still believe they would have taken the stuff. You see what I'm saying? Even though Q states on the thing, QAnon, they're stating that it was, they're saying Wasserman Schultz, MS-13. Yeah, but in order for Wasserman Schultz to say something, who's behind her? Hillary's telling Wasserman Schultz. Why detract? We know who it is. Okay, Wasserman gave the final order there. Yeah, but who gave the first order? Who gave the command? Hillary. Why are we saying Wasserman Schultz? She's the lowest of the lowest right now. We're talking about the big fish. And again, I don't believe it's MS-13. It just doesn't sound correct. Unless they used it maybe because he was out in the open in order to cover their tracks just in case something was caught. That I can go with. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a professional. But it does not, no, this does not sound. How about remember back a couple of months ago when they were saying about some FBI agent's car that the gun went missing and it was in the neighborhood? If any of you guys remember, because that just popped right into my head now. So what about that story that they were saying the gun was missing from this FBI agent that was parked, I guess, a couple of blocks away? I don't remember the story. But that's why I'm saying it. I can't believe the MS-13. But if you guys can clear it up, I'd appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think, because, like, you see where I'm saying with this memo here, it looks like they're leading back to make it look like it was the Russians. Do you see what I'm saying? For this leak. Now, what did they do with Donald Trump? It's the Russians again. See, so they're saying that this could not be done by the Russians. It was done locally, the drops. And WikiLeaks even said it wasn't the Russians, but he's not giving the source. So it all, listen, whether this is the real one or not the real one, we know that the bottom line, you see how Brennan and Clapper are involved in this? Why were they so against Donald Trump? Why were they always attacking Donald Trump? Remember? When they were on some kind of television show or something, and they were like this hatred, this downright hatred for Trump. You could see it. And I said, what evil people they are. And these people are involved in all of this. Do you see? So, in other words, the FBI is guilty of doing this. Not all of them, no. And then we want the FBI to take a look at the memo. And if it's trash, just like Adam Schiff says, why are you talking about national security? If it's garbage, release it. If it's garbage, why national security if it's a piece of trash that they're trying to pump now? That the memo is not shocking and, it has no bearing. So if it has no bearing, release it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.